Welcome back. I'm Pastor Joseph, and
I'm Pastor Jer. Welcome, guys.
this is Daily Gains, and we're looking at the conclusion of Proverbs 26 out of the ESV from 20 to 28.
I hope this has been really useful for you guys.
It's been fun for us.
Sure
You
has.
ready to go?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Let's go.
For lack of wood, the fire goes out, and where there is no whisperer, quarreling ceases.
For lack of wood, the fire goes out, and where there's no whispering, quarreling ceases.
As charcoal to hot embers and wood to fire, so is a quarrelsome man for kindling strife.
As coals to fire and sparks to timber, so is a gossiping man to a quarrel and a fight.
I like that version. The words of a whisperer are like delicious morsels. They go down into the inner parts of the body.
The words of a whisper are like delicious morsels. They go down deep into the body.
Whoever hates disguises himself with his lips and harbors deceit. Oops, I skipped one. In his heart. Well, we'll do this one anyway. This is verse 24. Whoever hates disguises himself with his lips and harbors deceit in his heart.
Everyone who hates hides deceit behind his lips and harbors bitterness in his heart.
Like the glaze covering an earthen vessel are fervent lips with an evil heart.
Like glaze covering a beautiful pot or plate are the lips of a man covering an evil heart.
When he speaks graciously, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart.
When that person speaks graciously, do not believe him, for there are 7 abominations hidden in his heart.
Though his hatred be covered with deception, his wickedness will be exposed in the assembly.
Though his hatred be covered with deception, he will be exposed, and his hatred will be exposed in the assembly.
Whoever digs a pit will fall into it, and a stone will come back on him who starts it rolling.
Whoever digs a pit will fall into it, and the stone that the person starts rolling will roll back onto him.
A lying tongue hates its victims, and a flattering mouth works ruin.
A lying tongue hates its victims, and a flattering mouth works its ruin.
May God bless the reading and hearing and living of us living out of his word.
Amen.
Amen.
Hey, you know what that last verse makes me think of?
I don't know.
Conversation that you and I were having a few years ago.
Okay. That narrows it down.
Yeah, I know. And you made the comment as we were talking about a situation that you had with someone who wasn't particularly close to you.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, I don't love them enough to lie to them.
That sounds like me.
That last verse made me think of it only because the lying and the hating go together in a way that, you obviously, you're making a joke. I don't love this person enough to lie to them, which meant I don't care about hurting your feelings. If this person were closer, maybe I'd say it more gently, whatever.
Correct.
But the focus here on the tongue and the connection between the tongue, the lips, and the heart, and what is hidden, the way that we seek to deceive those whom we despise by putting out what is sweet, what looks pretty, but it's all a disguise. It's all a mask. And the fact that that's not new, the fact that we didn't discover this with Instagram and Facebook and Hot Shock, or that's the platform I'm starting, guys. So hop onto that.
What is it?
Hot Shock. Is it taken yet?
No, I don't know. Whatever.
Well, I mean, it's got to be like 17 new ones by the time we drop this.
Whatever. My favorite verse out of this is the one that you laughed at, like the glaze covering an earthen vessel, our fervent lips with an evil heart.
Oh, Dave, you're so smart. That's the one I was picking out. I can't believe that you chose that one. That one makes me think so many good things about you.
Okay.
I was trying to be fervent. That's as much as I got.
It is that flattering, as you joke. It is that it's, to me, it's the passion behind the lie. It's the the corruption or the inward dying that takes place when someone is so consumed with a lie, with protecting something that is fake. Okay, I'll back up. I had a couple counseling sessions today where spouses were cheating on one another and were finding out about affairs, and lies were abundant, and some still lying, even after being caught. And so this verse reminds me of that, and hearing how just how stupid the lies were, but also how continual they were up until being caught.
Mm.
To the point of flattering their spouses to cover up again their hearts. The desire to sell earthenware in a market created a space for fakes and broken earthenware to be sold by glazing it. And this
Sure.
glaze,
Yep.
as you know, was often a wax based glaze that was shiny, which made it look pretty, but it also made it uh, useful for a moment. It made it look like you could do something of worth with this broken wares. Once you added anything to it, the wax would melt and the truth would be known. Whether it was a small crack and it dripped or the bottom fell out, um, the weight of the truth, the heat of it caused change to take place, allowed the false stuff to fall away, the pretty stuff to fall away, and allowed the truth to be seen. That is often what takes place when you have an evil heart. It's covered in such a way that it presents well. And yet, give it time, put it under pressure, and you'll see real quick that it isn't a diamond, it's actually a dud.
That's one of the reasons that in the Proverbs, oftentimes the warning is given: don't be quick to shake hands with someone. Don't be quick to make a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And the advice that I will often give people when they go to a new place is the person who greets you first and the most warmly, put an asterisk by their name, because typically they're going to want something and they're going to try to pull you into their orbit for influencing. And they're typically not going to be the person in the position that they represent themselves to be. If you're walking into an organization and someone approaches you this way and starts giving you the lay of the land about where they're connected and how things really work, in my experience, limited as it is, I'll caveat that, but in my experience, that person, unless their job is actually from HR to do this, they're typically actually in the minority in terms of the culture within the organization, and they're looking to strengthen their position. And often, what you'll find is that after a week or three, you start hearing the negative things just starting to be peppered into the conversation about all the other people in the organization around them. But you're not one of those people, and I'm so glad you're here because you're so different and you're really going to help us. It's just one of those things we've got to watch for. And I don't mind beating on President Trump here at all. One of the things that he was known for, rightly so, was empty flattery. And his empty flattery was always for the purpose of getting someone to do something that he wanted them to do. And if they did it, great. And as long as they served a purpose, he was willing to give flattery. And as soon as they either said no or stopped giving him what he wanted, the flattery was gone. And all of a sudden, it was not just a lack of flattery, it was vitriol, it was anger, and he had no use for them. And he would drop them and run over them. And this apparently seems to be the pattern for his life, both in his presidency and before his presidency. But you see this in the flattery. It's one of the things that, when I watch America's Got Talent and I watch the judges, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, why? Your lies are so empty at this point. I honestly don't understand how someone would get up on stage, present their talent to you, and be at all moved by what you say, because maybe it's just me, maybe it's my own bias, but there's so much you're speaking through your teeth the entire time. At least Simon Cowell didn't. He was like, no, that sucks. And you need to not do that ever again.
Oh, okay. So there's a part of love. And you made the joke, so I guess this will help us wrap up. I don't love you enough to lie to you. There's a part of love that requires me to be honest with you when it's difficult.
Absolutely.
There's a part of love that understands I'm putting you first and actually helping you by having the tough conversation, even though it doesn't feel good. And in our culture, we like to feel good more than we like to actually embrace the truth of Christ defined love, right? Sacrificial love, the highest love, a love that puts you first. Thinking even back to the Garden of Eden, where God breathed into man of all things to do, right? He created a whole new thing, birds, all this other stuff. He stopped to form man out of the dust of the earth and breathe into him, and woman from the rib of Adam. Like, those two things are humbling to me because they were done in love. And at the same time, they clearly point to an uncomfortableness, not because God overexerted himself and needed to rest on Sunday. Not at all. If anything, it's because he's willing to love dirt that he breathed into.
Yeah.
And he's willing to have those awkward conversations of, hey, where are you? Where'd you go? Who told you that you were naked? Exactly. He's willing to have these awkward conversations. And we need to be willing to do the same for the sake of love, out of a good heart, not out of an evil heart, a good heart. So there you go. You got your homework.
Makes me think of James. It makes me think of James, that the man that goes and looks into the perfect law of God as a mirror, but then walks away and forgets what he looks like. Imagine if instead of looking into that perfect law, you were looking into a funhouse mirror that was designed with the Instagram filter to make you look beautiful. You're still going to walk away and forget. The difference is, when the thing that you're looking at is flattering you and lying to you, it's going to lead to it's not going to lead to your improvement. It's going to lead to your destruction. And you're going to do it blindly and maybe happily, but blindly walking into your own pain. You don't have to. And we don't have to be that for each other, because Christ, as you said, was not that to us. He spoke the truth to us. He said, no, you're filthy. Come over here. I can do something about that.
There it is. Let's go and tell some truth in love. Make sure there's some truth in your heart, though. Make sure they feel the love more. Have a good heart. Have a great day. This is Pastor Joseph and Pastor Jer. We love you abundantly. Pray today through these verses and ask God for wisdom.
Yeah, it's good.
We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.